Hey YouTube land, Andrews here doing another action figure review. Now, I know it's been a while since I did a review. Mainly, I've been super busy with college work again. We're coming up to filming our short films for college, so I will probably be trying to drop links or send links to those in the near future, or to some form of information about those in the near future. They are college short films, so we have 4 college short movies being made, 2 by the group that I'm in, and then 2 by the other group. There's classes like split into 2 big groups, so we have a few of those, but that's not what we're focusing on today. Today we are focusing on this. And what this is the Cobra Commander G.I. Joe Classified Series number 168. And if you're wondering why he doesn't look like the standard look of Cobra Commander, which is this more iconic kind of visage, it is because it is the 90s era one, based on the he was based on the comics, not Marvel Comics, I believe. I think it was at the time, Marvel Comics and the Deke animation version. So we'll have a quick look at his packaging before we have a look at the figure. There are some cool, interesting nods to both those. So you have, it's the newer style packaging, which is the kind of dark blue boxes with the kind of steel plate backing. You have the Cobra logo present up top. You can see the 168 number on it. You got an artwork image of Cobra Commander on the side, and you have another thing on the opposite side, and you have a QR code down the bottom. And then on the back of the box you have an image of the figure within, and you have an image of some of those accessories that come with the figure, which is pretty cool. So that aside, we'll take the box away and then we'll move quickly on to the figure and we'll have a look at him. And here is the figure in all its glory. We'll grab the tape measure. Sorry for the background noise, there was a plane going up past the house. But you can see it stands just around 6 inches, 6 and a bit. He's a little bit on the tall side, but he's just a hair over 6 inches. Which isn't too bad because this is a 112 6-inch figure line. So he comes with a few accessories. Most notably, he comes with an alternate head. So this is where the nods to the cartoon comes in. So if you're familiar with this figure, this is the Cobra Commander I Was Once a Man. I believe it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. It was a exclusive, I believe. And if you look closely at the eyes on this alternate head, you can see they match up with the eyes on this. The reason being is because in the first of the Deke animation series, Operation Dragonfire, Serpentor, which is this bloke, as Naugahyde calls him, basically there's like a Cobra civil war going on, where some of the Cobra operatives are not happy at the fact that the Serpentor is kind of doing a bad job, and they want to bring Cobra Commander back. But in the previous iteration of the G.I. Joe cartoon series, in the movie, he was turned into a King Cobra snake, and they use magic MacGuffin stuff to change him back into his human form, or human-esque form. And when they do so, they give him this armor suit, and you can see these eyes, or the eyes that he has, because he's basically turned back into this sort of half human, half snake person. And he dons the armor, and that is pretty much it. Then later on in the series, they change it. They don't explain it. They just give him back his normal eyes, which are the ones that I have on his current head. If you go comic book lore, what's interesting is, I think it's Fred 7, I believe is the name of the guy he takes over. He's one of the Crimson Guard elite characters. He takes over for Cobra Commander. He dons this armor as a disguise and pretends to be Cobra Commander. Or is it he becomes Cobra Commander, and when Cobra Commander comes back, he takes this armor? There is a comic book story arc with it. There's a kind of cool, interesting comic book part where I think Fred 7 gets killed by Baroness, or is it Major Blood, or one of those characters. Anyway, he gets bumped off, and they kind of panic and go, who's going to pretend to be Cobra Commander now? And they basically put a battle android trooper in this armor. And I had the story. It was the first introduction for Crocmaster, I believe, as well, because he was like, he's basically a guard that guards Cobra Island with his Croc patrol. He's like a security guard, basically, a kind of weird, bizarre one, but he is still one. And he uses his Crocs to guard the island. But there was a cool story arc for that. But the other interesting nod to the Deke animation is this guy. So this is a iguana that comes with this figure set. And if you're wondering why a kind of random, obscure iguana comes with this, is when Cobra Commander gets turned back into his human form and the whole Operation Dragonfire thing collapses. In the upshot of it is, they turn Serpentor into this. That's why the colorings are similar. Obviously, I don't have my big version of Serpentor, the 6-inch version of him, but they basically, in the cartoon, used the same technology that returned Cobra Commander back to his human form. They use it to reverse engineer Serpentor and turn him into this iguana, which is an interesting nod to the whole comic lore and stuff. Now, this armor isn't exactly the same as it was in the comics. I do believe there's a few kind of, it's, but as with most classified, there's some iterations to changing it. Most notably, the weapon, I believe, is one of the few things that are changed. But before I go on to the weapons, he does come with extra hands. So he comes with punching hands. He comes with 2 grip hands, a left and a right grip hand. As you can see, his right grip is in his hand, which is holding his weapon currently. And then the other hand he comes with, just this one, his pointy finger hand. You can't be a bad guy without having either a world-grasping, domineering hand or a pointy finger hand, so you can point at people and get your minions to do stuff. So overall, he is a pretty cool design. His backpack is also a separate piece. It was so on most iterations of it. I think on the original figure, there was some question as to how it went on. It sat lower, and I believe it went like this. It was upside down, or it was, the peg was, it didn't make it clear on the instructions which way the backpack went. But for this one, it's fairly obvious which way it goes. So you have that. Again, the gun that he comes with is a nice kind of blaster, laser blaster. There is a peg hole on the front if you have blast effects, so should plug in. The magazine isn't removable. On some of the G.I. Joe weapons, they have removable magazines, but not on this particular version. Now, he does have a holster on the side of his left leg, and he can holster that weapon. And this is the point where I think it's a little too big for my imagination. If I remember correctly, the original figure, he did have side holsters, but if I could be misremembering, but he only had a pistol on the side holster as opposed to a big kind of submachine gun looking thing, or submachine laser rifle, whichever way you want to describe it. But yeah, he did have that. So for articulation, as you can see me moving his arms around to get the rifle out, he does have some interesting articulation. So he has these pauldrons up on his shoulder. Now, they don't seem to move with the shoulder, so they will kind of get in the way of some posability, but at least on mine, they don't seem to move, and it doesn't look like they're designed to move. He does have butterfly joints, which is interesting. He does have the ball joint on the neck. He actually has the double ball joint. There's one at the base of the neck where it meets the body, and then one at the base of the head where the neck meets the head. So he does have kind of a double joint, but because of the way the armor is done and the neck is, you don't get a lot of movement out of it. He does have the upper diaphragm joint, so you can crunch forward, crunch back. He does have a waist swivel. He does have the kick on the legs. Now, because of his holster, it will get in the way. It's not attached to this leg, but it will hinder it a slight bit for getting the splits. So will the armor. The plate on the armor will actually hinder that a bit. He does have a hidden thigh swivel. He does have double jointed knees, which are quite tight on mine because I haven't used them too much. He has the ball joints. He does have boot swivel, which is hidden quite nicely just here at the base of his ankle, or where the ankle meets the top of the leg. He has the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then depending on which hand you have in, he has a hinge, I believe, on each hand. So on his punching hand, or on his pistol grip hands, he has up and down. So you should have an up and down, which is kind of hindered by the cuff of his armor plate. But you have in and out for the pointy hand. So, and for his punching hands, I believe it's the same. Yeah, it's in and out for the punch hands. But for the trigger finger hands, it is an up and down. He does have peg holes, and he does have a little bit of legally stuff on the back. And then just a quick look again at the back of his armor. What's another interesting note is this hose on the headpiece is a separate piece. It's just glued in place. On the original, it was a pipe, like a little black hose pipe on the original figure that would be quite easily lost. So it is something to note. I do love the design of the helmet. They kept the helmet design pretty much on par with his original counterpart. I will try and throw an image of his original look in figure form into this or in the video here somewhere, so you can see them kind of side by side. In fact, if I just put them aside, give me some time to put it in. I'll try and put it in here. But it is a pretty cool figure. I do just like the design of it. And again, it is a nod back to this design. Obviously, this is the film version. He should look more like this compared to the original classified release. They did do a version of this guy in that kind of more traditional Cobra Commander uniform for the retro collection. I don't have it. He also did the Mickey Mouse version. Now, if you're not familiar with the Mickey Mouse one is, basically on the very first original Cobra Commander, there was a slight misprint on the Cobra symbol, and the top of the head looked like it had Mickey Mouse ears. Hence why it's called Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. I believe he was straight arm as well. He didn't have the swivel in the bicep back then. So he is quite one of those rarer, sought after versions of Cobra Commander. The first versions of him that has that. So for a size comparison, bring in a couple of other 6-inch scale figures in both same line and some different lines. So we will bring in PDD Destro, is it? So because I have him Prophet Director Destro, I have him to hand, so you can see the height of him. Technically the gold head Destro is more akin to what Destro was in the series, because that's the way he looked. And because I have him here and he's part of the I think it was Nacelle did him. Here is Comedy Legends Bill Hicks, because he's standing next to me, so I bring him in. You can see how tall he looks next to Cobra Commander. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick video review for this action figure. It is quite a nice one. There was a few iterations of Cobra Commander that were done during the years. I do like this one. I have a soft spot for the, or is it? It's not Star Brigade version as well. I'm not sure if they'll ever release that in classified. It was a pretty big detour from his iconic look. but you never know, they might do it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please hit those likes and share the video with anyone you think might appreciate it, because all those extra likes and shares and views do go a long way to help promote my channel. So thanks a lot, and hope you have a great day wherever you are watching this in the world. Cheers.